We finished the first part of the book, which discussed how you, my dear friend, can manage your approach to money and spending. Now let's move on to a fascinating idea that we both love, the crazy notion of planting money to eventually grow a money tree. Personally, I not only thought about this idea when I was younger, but I even tried it by burying a coin and watering it regularly. Unfortunately, nothing ever grew. For a long time, I believed it was a silly idea that didn't exist in reality. However, the truth is that growing money is real, and it's called investing. What prevented me from seeing it this way was the term investment. I didn't understand the difference between planting seeds and investing. Planting is about sowing seeds to grow plants, and whether or not those plants bear fruit isn't my main concern. But with investing, the goal is to plant for a return. This is what we refer to today in the financial world as investment. To reap financial rewards, you need to learn how to cultivate your money. This concept is often overlooked but can dramatically change our financial lives. If you take 10% of your income and forget about it, you can comfortably live off the remaining 90%. Think deeply about this idea. For example, if you invested just $100 a month, about 375 rials or dirhams, in stocks that yield an annual return of only 6% after 30 years, you'd have approximately $97,451, over 350,000 rials. You might think that 365,000 reals after 30 years isn't worth it. But if we could fast forward 30 years, I'm sure you would want that money. Now consider this, if you invested $200 a month instead, you'd have about $194,000. If you doubled it to $400, that could grow to around $388,000, nearly 1.5 million reals. Imagine me offering you 1.5 million after 30 years. You would surely agree. And if you invested $1,000 a month, you'd have about $970,000 after 30 years. Let's address the notion that this is only relevant for young people. I once talked about investing with my family, and one of my aunts said investing wouldn't apply to someone her age, 50 or 60. I told her that even if she started investing at 60, by the time she was 80, she wouldn't want to rely on hospital visits for care. She would want enough money for home health care. If you start investing now in your 30s, you have a tremendous advantage. I encourage you to take 5% or 10% of any income, whether from salary, bonuses, or gifts, and set it aside for the future. Understand that money can grow like a plant, and it's a legitimate idea, not a childish fantasy. This is like retirement savings or Social Security. Think of it as investment, not mere savings. Robert Kiyosaki always said, "Don't save, invest." Don't keep your money stagnant in a bank account. Instead, invest in stocks, real estate, or other assets that yield returns. For example, if you saved $100 without the benefits of interest or investment, after 30 years, you'd have only about $36,000. But if you invested it wisely, you could have over $97,000. Look at Warren Buffett. He's one of the wealthiest people in the world because he started investing young. At just 11 years old, he began delivering newspapers and bought stocks with his earnings. Imagine how much money I've spent trying to impress others or post on social media. If I had just set aside 10% of that for investment, I would be in a much better position today. Remember that it's better to start late than never. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire overnight. It took him years of compound interest to reach his level of wealth. He achieved financial independence by having money working for him, generating income while he slept. You can teach your children these habits too. Encourage them to save a portion of any money they receive and invest it. This habit will stay with them throughout their lives, helping break the cycle of poverty. Wealthy families pass on these habits, which is why their children often remain wealthy. Don't wait 30 years to start. You can achieve unexpected wealth much sooner. For example, if you had invested in Tesla back in 2010, a mere $1,000 would be worth around $250,000 today. Similarly, investing in Amazon in 1997 would have turned that same $1,000 into over $1 million. So my friend, focus on controlling your spending and investing any income you receive. It requires effort and a shift in mindset, but it will pay off. Ask yourself if you really need to spend on something, or if that amount could go toward an investment instead. Remember, your emotions can be a barrier between where you are now and the life you want to live in the future. Please, develop these habits. Wealth and poverty are both habits we can unconsciously adopt. As I mentioned, if you reach a point of financial abundance but your spending habits remain poor, you will eventually lose that wealth. Many athletes and celebrities have faced this issue. They received large sums of money but continue to live beyond their means. Finally, remember that while you need to learn how to invest, controlling your spending is something within your power. Start by making informed decisions about your money, whether to spend or invest. I hope you find this insight valuable, and if you did, please like and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to our next discussion.